remain hopeful as to the destiny of humanity when I hear the love that the archangel, other light being, very powerful ascended masters such as Jesus, which is an ascended master. So we have.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me on, Evelyn. I appreciate it. I am originally from Israel. I am here in the United States for many years, 25, but I was born and raised in Israel. I grew up actually in a somewhat of a conservative Jewish home. Of course, Judaism is the religion of Israel. So I did not know much about spirituality. I wasn't spiritual. I was kind of following the tradition of the Judaism. But then what's happened, Evelyn, is that being in the United States, naturally I was exposed to different religion, to different people, as opposed to Israel, which everyone is Jewish. And I kind of look at other tradition and I came across spirituality and it kind of sat with me. I kind of felt at home, and I start to study about spirituality, God as energy, of course, the soul within the body, all the concept of spirituality. And slowly, I kind of turn more and more from my Judaism practices to spirituality. And at that time, it felt as if I don't belong to the spirit world, to the professional world anymore. I felt almost foreign in my business, but the business by then was in business for 15 years. And slowly I felt that really the universe pushed me out. The business closed its doors, fail, I would say, and it's kind of forced me to look into spirituality a little bit more. At that point, I had plenty of knowledge about spirituality. I became a Reiki master, which is, I did energy healing to animals, which whom I love so much, and people. And then I start to taught myself how to meditate, how to quiet the mind, which is, of course, the biggest obstacle to heal spirit. And I work on it and work on it and work on it until I actually heard a spirit. The first one that spoke to me was the Archangel Michael. And then I got better and I practiced. Back then, I did not refer to myself as a medium. I did not have the busy business I have now. But as the time unfolded, of course, practice make better. I was able to more and more heal spirit. I was able to heal spirit guides and angels, and my ability to quiet the mind was a more focus. Eventually, I opened the business that I have right now for the last 18 years, where I am a medium. I channel a departed loved one. I am also a psychic, meaning I channel spirit guides and give a lot of life advice and medical intuition. And that really was the transition between Judaism to spirituality and, frankly, to the work I do now. Humanity is not tilting back to let the collective soul lead the way, the ego still lead the way, which is why we are where we are. Again, globally, I'm not talking any specific country. Gaia is a real entity, she's a real energy field, and she will punish us. That's exactly what it is. Now, is it punish us because God is a mean, punishing, supreme being? God is all pure, all good, all delightful. But there is consequences. It's a law of effect. We're going to continue to disrespect nature and animals, which God loves so much, obviously. Then there will be consequences. And the consequences are indeed more and more flooding, like we unfortunately saw in Texas few months ago in the United States, of course, hurricane, of course, earthquake. Absolutely, this is the hand of Gaia with the self-preservation of nature, because unfortunately, Evelyn, planet Earth is a very harsh dimension that mostly help us grow and evolve through misery. It's just the way planet Earth is. So therefore, if we're gonna start seeing misery more than we have right now, hopefully, eventually, we will change our way once again, leave the ego behind, and go back to our origin, to our soul, to being a part of God. So all that's connected to the phrase depend on us. Now, that's why I said that the universe detect people that can be helpful to humanity, that even if they don't, like you, Evelyn, you very much contribute to humanity, very much contribute to human, absolutely. So even though, let's say Evelyn said, no, I'm not like that. Yes, yes, you are. Meaning sometimes people say, Evelyn, no, I'm not a healer, just to use the phrase. Yes, more and more people are being inspired by the universe to surface up, to share their ability to help others, to share their ability to volunteer, to share their ability to grow spiritual. More and more, pardon me, more and more people do that. So and it doesn't look good from today because it's very, very harsh. When I tune into the collective energy of humanity, I get nauseous. And when I get nauseous, it's mean that my system, which refer to the mind and body, tuning into overly negativity, and I kind of have to back off of it because I'm sensitive, as a lot of people are. So, but yeah, so again, in regard to economy and globally, depend on us, Evelyn. Obviously, if the collective energy continue to grow in power because of the individual people that keep feeding it, no food, no water eventually. We already cover natural disaster. We already cover fighting between countries, which you see now. People think they can save or get peace with war. That would never happen. The only thing we get peace is climbing or raising up our vibrational energy. So not good. The good news, Evelyn, is that we are very much loved species by the Creator. We are very much loved species, but by a lot of what we refer to as light being, such as the archangels, very, very powerful. There are other and outside species. Some people call it alien. Okay. There are other, of course, species within all universes of God that helping humanity, that help influence us to change our way, that help influence the collective to go more positive. So the good news, we're not alone. We do have help. Now, whether we accept it or not, a different story, because the ego, once it's big in power, is very, very, very hard to kind of go backward unless the soul enter the picture. But we do have help. I always remain hopeful as to the destiny of humanity when I hear the love that the archangel, other light being, very powerful ascended masters such as Jesus, which is an ascended master. So we have a lot of help, but they can't force it on us because free will exists. That's the way we grow. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, if you will, Evelyn. I don't think we're going to cease to exist. I don't think shown if there are vision where you see zombies and we shoot each other like those Hollywood movies. I don't believe so. I don't think so. But we're not doing good. So awakening is not something that God can give us in one day. We wake up tomorrow, we awaken. Of course not. He could do it. He doesn't. Because awakening is a process, Evelyn, which why the beginning of today's interview, I was kind of telling you the process that it took me to grow up in a very religion country, and I learned about that, and it didn't really sit with me right, about religion, frankly, that too many rules, and spirituality came my way. It's a process. Awakening require a great amount of shifting internally. Everything is internally, nothing is externally, meaning no matter how much the Creator loves us, because we are part of Him, small part, a fragment of Him, He can give it to us, He can give one and not the other. So there are rules that are being put in place. And the rules of awakening is switch the intention from a negative intention to the intention of I'm going to change because I'm tired of being negative, I'm tired of harming others, I'm going to change, I'm going to grow spiritually, I'm going to become a better person. So again, the awakening will happen collectively once more and more people that now are led by the ego turn into leading by their soul. And the good news is, because I work with so many people, I do see awakening. I do see awakening where people are fed up because also, Evelyn, there is a soul within all of us. Everyone have a soul, animals, of course, human being. There is a part of God within us. And because we have a part of God within us, the soul from the inside try to inspire us to awaken. Now it's depending on our spiritual walk. If we don't believe there is a soul, a lot of people don't believe. They come to a reading, they say, I don't know about the soul in the body. It's fine. Everyone wake up in their own pace. But if there is, well, once you believe there is a soul, you have to believe it's a part of God, of course, then you can align yourself with your soul. And the soul is divine, and the soul is wisdom, and the soul is positivity. The soul is what I refer to as the DNA of the Creator. We are inheriting his DNA to obviously a smaller degree, of course, So once enough people had enough with suffering, which why suffering can wake us up, which where we going, when we're gonna have enough, people will realize I need to awaken. So the awakening will happen. United States is kind of the example of the world. It's kind of designed like that. So things do start here. So I agree when you brought up what would be happen here. But again, what I would like viewer to know, it's all go back to the individual intention, individual choices to change themselves, to realize that it's all internally. You cannot get anything from the outside. All go back to the source, meaning the soul within the body, work on it, it take a hard work. And if enough of us do that, we'll start tilting the scale. Right, the system now is corrupt because it's project what we are. We get what we project, even in a personal life. The more you grow spiritually, there is a reward for that. There is a reward to make the effort to become better, to help humanity, your life become better, because everything does have a reward, of course. Same thing with the system. You're absolutely right, Evelyn. At the moment, we project where humanity is. So the system is bad. Once we start shifting, we will project an energy that will attract different system. It's called law of attraction. This is a basic spiritual concept. Right now, it's a mirror. It's always a mirror. Whether you individual mirror, you look what you create. This is our choices, our creations of the reality, whether individual or collective. And you're absolutely right. That's why, again, if you look at the world, all country, the system is bad. It's corrupt. Why? Because it's mirror the collective energy of the people within that system. But once the awakening start, the system will change. 100%. It's just a law. Yeah, we get what we project, really.
Yes. So in the moment of global uncertainty, how can people keep hope alive?
Right, right. And it's all about spirituality. It's all about my hope. is that even one viewer today will resonate with the information, even if they're not spiritual. Spiritual, by spiritual, I mean is to check our inside. We all know at the end of the day what we did good and what we don't do good. Meaning we know what a good person meant to do. We all have that knowledge. We're not kids anymore. So what we need, so when I say spirituality, is know that there is the soul in the body that is an amazing source. We have God within our body. You know, we have an amazing source that's once you tune into it, you get insights, you get channeling, you get guidance, you know. So really, we are guided within, meaning part of God, meaning the soul, and guided outside, meaning what I refer to them as our spirit team, meaning angel and spirit guide. So once we really get that, once we authentically understand, and let's say build on the information for audience today that hear me and kind of intuitively agree, even a little bit. Go get more knowledge, go get more books, go get more classes that teach that, you know. So the more divine knowledge you have, the bigger it is, the more you spread around the positivity. But it will happen. I believe it will happen. I many times I ask the spirit world if indeed humanity would just be done. No, of course not. But it's take work, and I don't. People right now, a lot, some not, but a lot are. They want a quick results. They want a quick reward. They want a quick losing weight. They want a quick this. I want a quick. I don't want to do the work, Miki. I just want to be already able to hear spirit and be uplifted spiritually. Well, it doesn't work like that. It's require patience, require work, and we're not there yet. But again, to keep the hope, Evelyn, is specifically why I brought up that if you pay attention now, you're going to realize how there are more and more ways to meditate, more and more. Look how many self-help books coming to humanity. And I'm not necessarily talking spiritual, how to be better human being and be patient and how to control your anger. And there's massive amount of spiritual book. All those are encouraged by the Creator, encouraged by Spirit for us to spread the knowledge. So once again, we can tilt the scale from negative collective ego to negative soul, to positive, obviously, to positive soul collective. So Mother Earth, Gaia, as it's referred, this is an energy that responsible for nature. So that energy that what we call Gaia, so responsible for nature. And she's not happy. Of course, she's not happy. There is disrespect for nature. There's disrespect, as I mentioned, disrespect for animals. And I'm not talking just taking trees for no reason and building stuff for humanity, you know, and killing for hunting, you know, which also include nature, obviously. There is disrespect. Now, Gaia is an energy, and her job is to protect nature and planet Earth. Then of course she's going to retaliate with natural disasters. It's already happened. That is her job. Her job is to wake us up. Her job is to, so again, of course, there is a self-defense mechanism of nature that need to survive. Nature as a whole need to survive. And again, I tell people, don't only look at the bigger picture. Well, I don't go and kill tree. But even if you go to a park and to the ocean, don't leave filth. Don't throw trash out of the window of the car. I mean, don't. There's a phrase in English that call kind of like, obviously English is not my thing, kind of like you can enjoy nature but leave nothing but your footprints. Do not leave trash. So what the reason I bring that example, Evelyn, because it doesn't have to be only the big thing that people destroy nature, disrespect to nature. You saw and animals are belong to nature, but also the little things. So again, everything starts with each one of us. Everything starts with accumulation knowledge. Everything starts with being a little bit more positive. And another thing I like to teach about nature, obviously, the creator energy resides within all his creation. So everyone and everything have a little bit of a fragment or a part of the overall what we call God or the energy. So obviously our soul within the body is part of God. But nature have the part of God as well, or as it's referred to as God consciousness or the chi. You don't need someone like me to tell you about that. You can feel it. All you need to do is go to nature. All you need to do is look at an oak tree, or look at the ocean, or look at the mountain, be a little bit more connected to them, and realize how unbelievably healing nature is. So the reason I bring it up, A, is for the viewer to say, interact with nature more. That's why in reading, when people, Evelyn, have depression, anxiety, bad mood, fight, drama, they tell people, go out to nature. And they don't mean go to nature, climb Mount Everest. They don't mean that. Either go to your patio, go to the garden, go to the beach, go to the park, because energy and nature have the energy of the creator, and it's project that to us. Look how we feel when we look at flowers, when we buy flowers, when we bring it to the house. So nature need to be preserved because nature heal us. There also, when I say there, I mean in reading, Spirit often advise people if we need to learn how to meditate, how to quiet the mind, it is best to be in nature because once again, Gaia, our Mother Earth can balance our energy. So it helps from anxiety to who we are, to drama, to ego, it's balanced the ego, to spirituality. So again, those are just a few examples as to why we absolutely not only must preserve nature, but we need to really honor nature. We don't want to lose nature because another apartment building and you take trees out because the trees are essential to us. So I'm very, very passionate about nature as well as animals, but they kind of connected. Yes, channeling spirit is amazing. And the biggest part of my teaching, Evelyn, to people, because sometimes people say you have to born with it. You know, those people that say they were 2 years old and they saw spirits. That's not true because I didn't see any spirit when I was 2 years old. And I was 32 years old when I actually self-taught myself how to do it. So the bigger lesson I tell people, if I did it in an older age, you can do it. Of course, it's require great amount of spiritual work, like I said at the beginning. So that's really something I like to include in my interviews. In regard to memorable readings, they all are fascinating, Evelyn. The love that our spirit guide have to us, the beautiful, fascinate channeling that come from departed loved one, that loves goes on. Of course, I am into animals. My last book was about animals, so I also channel departed pets, which of course have souls, so we can channel them. So all readings are fascinating. Are they all positive and no, sometimes spirit guide can be tough on us, especially if they try to get to us and we don't listen to them. Spirit guides are our beloved eternal teachers. The love they have for us is undescribable. I mean, they are our best friends, I call it, as they call themselves. But readings are amazing. They're all unique, they're all different. It's not a fortune telling. I always say that to Evelyn. Otherwise, my life would have no problems. And they do like everyone else. So there is rules to what coming in readings, but they're always fascinating, super helpful. The spirit world love us and they want our best. So obviously reading is a direct way to connect to them. So at the beginning, it was confusing, Evelyn, because the, we have our own inner voice, and spirit also use our inner voice to talk to us. So the biggest question I have of people. How can you differentiate between our inner voice and the voice of spirit? How do you know? And really, at the beginning, it was very, very difficult for me to know, am I talking to myself? That's why there is a lot of doubt when people start the path of mediumship or spirit communication, because you don't know if it's you, is it them? But then again, as I use the phrase, that it's kind of like a muscle. The more you go to the gym, the more toned the muscle is. So the more you trust the process, the more you continue to work on yourself, on your mind, on your body, on your spirit. You try to elevate yourself spiritually by being spiritual person, kind person, connected to the creator. So the more you are aligned, the more you start to realize that the voice of spirit is always positive, always soft. It's kind of in the background, where our own inner voice, if we to pay attention to our own inner voice, is negative, it's harsh, it's full of fear, it's full of doubt, it's very close. So the way I teach people is the inner voice is right there, and spirit are a little bit more in the background. So there is a way to differentiate, but again, practice make better also, Evelyn. They tell us things that we naturally would not tell ourselves. So they want to make sure that I know it's not me, it is them. The first and foremost, they'll bring up validation that people can relate to, obviously. But they said things like, I love you. Well, I'm not going to tell myself I love you. Usually we don't do that. But they compliment us, they say I love you. So again, once you get more and more into believing that indeed you are communicating with spirit, then it is more obvious as to that it's not my inner voice. Also, once you start the spirit communication, they tell you who it is. And with practice, I am able to know now, because spirit guide kind of have different energy, different style of channeling as opposed to angels. They sound different. So again, everything in spirituality, including meditation, learn to quiet the mind, mindfulness, all in spirituality require consistency, great amount of work, great amount of effort, including spirit communication, but it's certainly worth the effort. So I have great love for animals. Like I told you before the interview, my husband Clayton and I, we rescue animals for the last 2 decades. So we have 20 animals. We have 20 plus animals now. We have horses and dogs and cats and tortoises and ducks. We rescue neglected animals. So animals mean a lot to me. My last book was about animal and spirituality, Evelyn. It's fascinating because they have a soul within the body in the same way we do, which enable them to have a lot of spiritual powers that we do not have, enable them to heal us. They are our teachers, animals. Our pets can detect if we sick, if we stress. They detect if there's a negative energy around us. So our animals are unbelievable. Of course, I'm not only talking about pets. Animals are part God's children in the same way we are. So honor animals, respect animals. Please do not hunt animals. Don't be cruel to animals. There is a lot of negative karma being brought by that, because they are divine being, no different than us. We have a soul. They have a soul. All souls are part of God. The only difference between animals and humans is the form. Obviously, a human soul resides within a human form, and an animal would reside within animal. Other than that, they're very, very precious beings that need to be honored, need to be cherished. For those that don't have a pet, they should, because they're amazing, amazing healer to our life. So yeah, animals are amazing. Of course, I'll be happy to. First of all, the thank you is for you, Evelyn. What a delightful healer you are. Please do not stop. Please even elevate it a little bit more. You have a lot of wisdom and you're quite an elevated soul. So please know that to be so. So I'm grateful that you invite me on. Like I said, it's important for me to spread the message. In regard to your lovely audience, thank you very much for listening. Again, take what sit right with you, sit right for you intuitively. You should know it to be so, and expect hardship because we are in the midst of a hardship. Acceptance is a spiritual concept. Once we accept things, we are aware of things and change it. Grow spiritually because the reward of us making the effort and aligning with the soul, be aware of the creator, be a decent human being, help tilt the scale is magical, Evelyn, because God would not ask us to do things without reward. We kind of a reward kind of a species. We want reward, and there is a reward, but you got to apply the work and be consistent and believe the concept. But I wish all the audience good luck. It's take one step at a time. Don't expect to come from here to here. It took me a long time to come where I am, and I still have a long way to go, but it's the reward that I can express to the audience that life become magical. Is it free of turbulence or free of challenges? There is no such a thing on planet Earth free of that because we grow through challenges, but everything become better because that's we get what we project. Oh, and my information really quickly. So everything is on my website, Evelyn. I have events coming up, Zoom events. I have 2 books that they can purchase. I can sign books as well that have a lot of spirituality. And really just go to MIKIJACOBS, that's MikiJacobs.com, and you can book a reading or you can join a Zoom event, but everything is there. So thank you, Evelyn. Thank you again so much.